And now, Freelance Heroism presents Dragon Heist.
Hey everybody, welcome to Freelance Heroism. My name is Deez.
And I'm Rachel.
And before we even get started, we just want to say thank you to everyone out there who donates to the Patreon, in particular those who donate at the producer tier.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, would you
Yes.
like to let us know who they are?
I would love to. We want to say thank you to Duncan, Nate, Breakmeister, Rebecca, and Chris Stones. Thank you so much, everyone.
You help us make a better show for everyone, so give yourself a big round of applause, and we really appreciate it.
I'm not putting in applause.
You don't have to. I'm just saying.
I just
Look,
feel like
they gave
you're
themselves
starting
the
to
applause.
mention, like you're mentioning it.
It's subconscious.
It's not subconscious if you're saying it.
Well, I mean, it's coming out. I'm talking. I'm trying to stay loosey-goosey for these people.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm trying to give them authenticity. Which, by the way, is a very good transition, I think, into our topic, I think, for today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
About commercial success versus authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Sometimes an artist or creator will soften some of the edges of things in order to make it more palatable for enough people. Right? And I think there is I think that when we say it like that, it sounds like I'm saying it as a negative, but I don't think necessarily that it is, because the point of any art or creation is to get people to hear. That's how you express yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if the gatekeeper for that, whether right or wrong, decides that some of the stuff needs to be softened so that it can be, you know, they can strap a Pepsi logo on it and sell it, then you got to do what you got to do, right? But I think there should always be a little bit of push at that line, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it should ever be too soft. And the example that I mentioned earlier was Sugar Ray, the band, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I showed you some Sugar Ray. You were familiar with all the Sugar Ray things, and that's a good example of why this is important, right? It's because you knew all the Sugar Ray songs that I played at first, and then I was like, have you heard this one? And you were like, no, I hadn't heard this one. And then you listened to it, and can you guess why you didn't hear it? Because it sounded nothing like Sugar Ray.
It was very aggressive, but it was a good song.
It was good, right? And so and that's what I was thinking, right? There are bands. I think bands probably are maybe the most obvious version, because they're. Mm-hmm. You listen to an album, you can tell what songs the radio didn't choose to put on the radio.
Yeah.
And then which ones they did. And I think if you were to look at the ones they put on the radio, you'd start to notice a trend. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about that, and I was like, can you think of anything? And you said...
There's a few. I'm a big Stephen King fan, and some of his early stories, specifically a couple of short stories I'm thinking of, are really weird. And like
weird how, Rachel?
Just about everything that Stephen King writes, especially now, it like immediately gets scooped up into being a mini series or movie or something, or or comics. But he has like some early stuff that I have read, and I'm like, he was probably on drugs when he wrote this, because he did a lot of drugs when he first started writing.
He's a writer. Booze and drugs for writers.
But it's like reading some of these stories, I'm like, you know, because sometimes you read a story and you're like, this is weird, but the meaning behind it is this. But there's some stories he has where it's like, there's no meaning. You just had a weird thought because you did some cocaine, and then you had a weird thought and you wrote it down.
Cocaine. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I know you don't want to get into specifics, right? But I think all artists are like that, right? Mm-hmm. That there's a level of honesty that might feel good to make, but you know that by doing it that way, you turn off the audience, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not it's the audience who's willing or unwilling to listen to it because it's too sharp, right? Mm-hmm. Or whatever kind of gatekeeper or filter there is between what you're saying and where the audience is. So in the music industry, it's the radio, people who choose what songs get listened to, and I'm happy to say that that's sort of gone. But there's still like the A&Rs, the kind of recording people, and the labels, and
Yeah.
you know.
I've only, and it could be where I live in the country, but I've only recently started hearing Ghost on the radio.
Mhm.
And even then, it's because they're very theatrical and they have like this whole big storyline thing going on. But even the stuff that by Ghost that they do play on the radio is sort of the like softer stuff, and it's not like
Right.
explicitly, hey, we're evil and we're here to corrupt you, because that's the storyline that we've made for this
Right.
band. But it is nice
Because
to,
they need to be able to sell Pepsi and Mountain Dew in between Satanist fucking
right.
melodramatic plays.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I was also thinking that like you don't hear Nine Inch Nails on the radio very much, and they're very popular. Trent Reznor sort of moved into doing like award-winning soundtracks for movies lately.
Yeah, so maybe there's another aspect to it. Maybe once you get well known enough,
Hmm.
you kind of are capable of shaking a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Or maybe you go the other way and you just embrace it entirely. I don't think Trent Reznor, I don't think anyone would claim that he's softened too much.
No.
Because, I mean, Nine Inch Nails has a song where they say, I want to fuck you like an animal. So, I don't know that I would say he's softened.
No.
I don't know. I'm curious to see what other people think,
Mhm.
right? I think that for rock people are really into rock, and I think hip hop too.
Yeah.
Maybe even more so now that I'm thinking about it. Hip hop probably more so.
Hmm.
There's a level of credit that goes to authenticity, right? Well, maybe not today in rock or hip hop. Now that I'm thinking about it. No, I just depressed myself a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Made myself sad.
Sorry.
Oh my god. Versace.
No.
Yeah. How authentic. How do you get the courage to say what's on your mind? Man, if Biggie came back from the dead, he'd be so bummed. Yeah, but okay, so like, I'm sorry, I can't get that out of my head now. It's a bummer. I think that they're for hip hop and rock music in particular, and you know, I think maybe just good music in general. I think there is a level of authenticity required to make a good song.
Yeah.
So like, I started listening to country music recently because I was so averse to it, because it all sounded the exact same to me.
Mhm.
So I thought, let me dig in and see what the nuances are to this type of music, right? So I started listening to kind of bluegrassy kind of country music.
Uh-huh.
And God, the same thing that's happening with hip hop and rock music today, where you get the radio crap, right? The stuff they've selected for the audience, for the world, the soft music,
Mm-hmm.
Which is stadium country. So it's like all the fucking dudes in cowboy hats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who all talk about their tractor, even though they fucking have never been on a tractor in their life.
Like, I love my tractor that came with my dad's land that I pay other people to take care of for me.
Yeah, they're like fucking driving down the dirt road. It's like, oh, give me a fucking break. It's like everybody's driving up and down this road in their Ford. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Every single country music guy is on the same road, driving up and down from the lake back to where the fucking barbecue is, back and forth over and over again. And on the way, they'll get a divorce or the dog will die.
That's what life is about.
Right, but then you also have
get to living.
before you get to dying. Oh my God, does that sound poetry? Does that sound like poetry? Man, there's a lot of really bad country.
Yeah.
But then you start to, but also counterpoint, Versace, right? Okay, so, but there is some good country out there, and I heard this song the other day. I can't remember the chick's name, but she was talking about this rosemary bush, right? And at the end of the song, she kills this bitch and buries her under the rosemary bush. And I was like, oh my God, this is kind of incredible. Yeah, but there was no softening there, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why she's never going to be, she wasn't on the dirt road.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you don't want to bury someone right by the road. I feel like that's just asking for the body to be found.
I think I'm learning something about Rachel. Your Honor, I'm not saying you need to send out some officers to her property, but I think that maybe if you had some on hand, maybe it'd be a good idea to take a look.
Do you want to get to this week's episode?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Before we do that, I am curious. So, like, on go ahead in the comments under here if you're listening to this. Go tell me an example of what you think is a good example of someone who maybe softened too much or just enough. Give me your thoughts on this. I'm curious to see if everyone else out there agrees or disagrees or has a different viewpoint on this, because I've been thinking about it a lot. Okay, sorry, to the episode.
Okay. So this is Dragon Heist, episode 52, Duck Duck Gulag.
Man, we're going to play that pun to the fucking dirt. I hope they come up with a new recipe for duck soon so that we'll have some more puns to make. Or maybe another duck-based game.
So while we were engaged with Erstal, we heard some of the other men working here, and they said something about killing hostages, which was why we stayed and followed them upstairs.
That's when he kind of gets kind of like quieter and more somber, and his demeanor changes. Yes, Smirt.
Yes. We had no idea they were here until Erstal gave the order to start murdering them, at which case Mr. Kavir here ran upstairs with Cedric and tried to do the best he could, although he did run into some resistance.
Which I handled.
Eventually.
You
Well,
were down.
It did kill your grandfather for just a tiny moment. Let's not forget that for a second.
What?
I look at Adri when I say that.
He kind of like
we were definitely caught off guard. Let's say that. We did.
You weren't
survived.
the only ones.
Well, apparently not.
For them to capture Mert means there's somebody more powerful in play than anyone that you guys have faced in here.
Did we see the altar when we were there, or is that something that only Kavir knows about?
I think only Kavir saw that.
Yeah, I mean, we were upstairs, but I don't think we were.
No, you guys never went that way.
Okay, yeah, because that was in a different room from where the prisoners were.
Yeah.
Yeah, the complete. Oh yeah, if you guys went one way, that was the other way.
Yeah. From Rayne's standpoint, the capturing of hostages kind of ratchets things up a bit. You know, coming in, if all Ursula had been doing was faking art in order to, you know, make some cash on the side, that's one thing. But
he stabbed me to 1 hit point.
No,
well, there's that too.
He's like, go for it.
I think Rayne did go with me to check the altar before we left.
I don't recall.
I honestly don't. I'm pretty certain you did. I think you would know about it, and even if we hadn't, we'd have talked about it. I would have said something about it by this point.
Okay.
But yeah. So once we were upstairs, I had seen the room where they were going to likely keep the hostages. I ran there to deal with that, and unfortunately was met with resistance. I'm going to look at Rayne by a guy named Gowan.
All right, Gowan. And I'm assuming he's the half orc at the top.
Yes.
Okay. He's like, let's back up a second here.
Okay.
So you guys showed up with Anders and the two, and it was the three of you, adding total 6.
Correct.
When did Cedric make his play?
That was after I had been upstairs and ran into Gowan. He got lucky. Fortunate strike right at the beginning. 3 of them, as a matter of fact. And it had put me down. I was unconscious for a moment. And that's when he showed up and kind of got me back to my feet. And because I am a decent combat medic, I was capable of getting myself back into fighting form, in which case I went disengaged from him to try to get the person who was going to be killing the prisoners. I dealt a bunch of damage to him, and then we swapped. I went back to Gowan, and he handled the other guy, and that's why we didn't get all of the... But he was directly responsible for saving all of the people who are now still alive. Without him showing up when he did, I would be dead, and they would be dead.
But my question is, where did he show up from?
I was unconscious.
No, I know that. Did the other two you see him into the building?
They didn't see until after
No.
they came upstairs.
See, the intriguing part is I know this seems almost minuscule now that we've issued warrants and bounties on pretty much all the Black Network. We were tracking a series of executions in the Black Network. It seemed like assassinations were being done on their higher agents. And now all of a sudden a trap set below as you guys just happen to hit the place and is triggered. Cedric shows up. You can see his mind is trying to grasp at something and trying to put things together.
Cedric may have followed us because we've sort of encountered him before a few times, and
okay.
I mean, he may have been, curious about what we were doing or worried about us.
Well, let me ask another question.
Mm-hmm.
Who stands to gain the most by taking out a masked Lord of Waterdeep? Right now, in the current political structure, who would benefit from Mert's death?
There's probably about 4 that are ready to take his place.
Well, then I would say there's your short list to start looking at right off the bat.
That seems unlikely, though, that a person who would make a play like that would be... You know what I mean? It would be too obvious. You'd think that if you were to get caught, you'd think they'd hire someone to handle a situation maybe a bit... I don't know.
Maybe things were being handled just fine until we showed up and screwed everything up.
Maybe.
I wonder if our friend down in the sewers was a fail-safe mechanism.
Or maybe the reason that people are acting against their own best interest.
Perhaps.
He looked over at Maloon. You still have Cedric in custody, right? His banishment hasn't been carried through. Maloon's like, no, he was banished and given 24 hours to get out of Waterdeep.
But that'd be a quick ass banishment if they just did it and he just like teleported to the front gate. Like,
so gone. He's still in Waterdeep? Yeah. He should be. Maloon just kind of hangs his head. God damn it. Track down Cedric Magistrate. So you just see a number of guards begin to walk out. True Seekers kind of begins to scratch his chin. I need to hear his story. There's something that we're not seeing. Or it could be nothing. I just don't like it. Um, he stands up. I hate to ask this of the three of you.
But you will anyway.
We need to search the three of you. I don't think we're gonna find anything. I really don't. But just to ease.
Adri might be going to jail.
Uh-oh.
We'll see.
What are the hey, do we need to go back and read the crimes thing?
No, I don't want to do that.
We can go back and read the laws. In the first episode, I read them.
Uh-huh.
Yep. He's like,
a
Doctor?
beating for a fortnight, 2 years in a prison, and a fine of $900 million. Sorry. Go.
All good. Truth Seeker looks over at Kavir. Doctor, would you go first?
Yeah, I want to start taking my armor off.
It takes a few minutes for Kavir to get full armored off and whatnot. And mainly you just have potions and your weapons and the armor and nothing.
I get to keep my regular clothes on, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's like, all right. That's what I thought. Nothing. Mr. Touche?
I will take off my vest and turn out my pockets. Sorry.
All right.
And whatever it is he needs me to do, I will do.
Heyo.
All right.
Within reason. I'm gonna. I am. I'm willing to subject myself to a degree. If he decides to get a little bit too personal, I will draw the line there. But
You got a Jim Henson you.
yeah.
No, he does not Jim Henson you. He leaves you in your
That's
clothes.
Good to know.
All right. Miss Adri, would you empty your bags?
Sure. Be happy to.
Can we just take a minute and just appreciate how good this feels? This is so good. Like I've gained 5 pounds on how amazing this is.
No,
It's like a cheesecake.
I did
Justice.
not play in the previous series, so I have no horse in this race. I from
Well,
the
I have a
outside
bunch of
standpoint.
horses in this fucking race and a couple reindeer. And let me tell you, I am loving this. Like it is like a McDonald's commercial. Da 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 ba ba. What's in the bag?
All right. So Idri will like the back of her armor will open up and she'll step out of it because she has cool power armor like that. And then she will very reluctantly open up her backpack. Some things that Adri has that they might have an issue with would be Volo's signet ring, her dad's Harper pin. She also has a black card that has the name Cedric on it.
He picks up the Volo's ring.
A list of things I've murdered in the last 48 hours. A bag of cocaine. Some amyl nitrates.
How did Jimmy Hoffa's body get in here?
Hollow point bullets.
Oh my god. This is karma. Because
bag-
when I DM'd Dragon Heist for my players, one of them got like 4 solid gold bars from a villa that we didn't go to, and the dwarf decided to just keep them on his person, and then they met up with like the city guards, and the guard was like, "Why do you have 4 gold bars stamped with like this royal seal?" And he's like, my friend told me to hold on to them." And I was the DM for that, and now this is karma coming back.
Wait, do you still have those copper or those silver bars that you didn't sell?
Oh crap, I do. Oh no. I have 4 silver bars. I have a yellow ribbon. I have those drow boots that I think are magic, but I don't
Wait a
Yep.
minute. This
I
might
don't know
be
what they
easier.
are.
What do you have in your bag that's not illegal? He's
Um,
like, I have a bag of powder titled John Benet Ramsey.
oh no. I have a set of calligraphy supplies.
Flint
Only
and
write
tinder.
curse words though.
He begins to go through the items and Volo's ring he holds up.
Okay, so when we met Volo gave that to me to hold on to, and I just haven't met him again to give it back to him.
Rainier told us the story of how you and Volo hired you guys. I
Yeah.
will
And that's when
steps aside that one for now. He sets it down.
Okay.
A Harper pen.
Yes.
Are you a Harper?
No. But
He looks over at Malone. Malone looks back and shrugs. He's like, Mert was a Harper. Is this Mert's pen?
No, that's my dad's pen.
He stops and looks at Malone. Did you know Ludo was a Harper? Malone's like, no, there's no way the Bard of the Yawning Portal's a Harper. The room kind of gets quiet.
Bards harp all the time. What are you talking about?
No, but this... He's like, it makes sense. A paladin choosing a bard. He's a Harper. Makes sense. I always thought your mother was too good for him.
You know, a lot
Close
of
the
people
pen down.
say that, weirdly enough.
A lot of people know your father. And he picks up the card.
So, that is.
So, Cedric and you.
I mean, like, we hang out sometimes, but I
need authorization. We need to hold here until I need authorization to get manacles. He puts the card down.
I'm sorry?
Cedric has ties to the Black Network.
I don't.
That card says otherwise.
What, I can't have a card?
Is there a legal statute that says she can't have a card with a person's name on
Yeah,
it?
that seems a little bit of a stretch.
If I remember right, I think the card actually had the dragon or the winged snake on it, didn't it?
Oh, it might have.
In all fairness,
I wrote
too,
down black Zent card, so yeah, there would probably be some sort of identifying Zent thing on it.
wait a minute. Didn't we just off a bunch of gangsters here?
So does Cedric.
Right.
And
all right.
he
Well,
wasn't
I
at work.
rest my case then. Never mind.
So he goes walking out, and as he's walking out, you see a wood elf come walking in, followed by a man in a cloak. She's like, "Are you a truth seeker?" Adri recognizes her aunt's voice immediately from the door.
Aunt Rislin!
She looks over. Adri has diplomatic immunity under my house.
Diplomatic immunity.
You lethal weapon 3 this. No, sorry, 2.
As well as the 2 with her. I believe that is Rayne and Kavir, she says, looking past True Seeker.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Trichet, Kavir?
Yes, that's correct.
Under Silver Moon, we claim diplomatic. They are ours.
I'm a diplomat now. You see that?
His mouth just kind of drops. She's like, it's signed by Lady Silverhand.
I'm
I went there
fancy as
first
fuck,
before I
brother.
got here. She looks over. Riordan, will you fetch my niece and her friends? A sun elf or a high elf removes his cloak and walks past the guy.
I'm gonna
He leans in to get real close to the guy. That means you're a bitch. And walks over to the other 3. You guys ready to go?
I'm putting one of my shoulder plates on and like strapping it in, and I'm gonna lean forward to him and like, I'm sort of a big deal now, so you know.
I'm
I'll
gonna
talk to you later.
go to grab my stuff that they were looking at. Kind of just I'll just sort of like push it into my backpack.
Clank,
Riordan's
clank, all the heavy bricks.
Adri, why
Yes.
you always have to pack a full bag of things?
You never know what you're gonna need.
Or not need.
Let's
As
go.
the case may be.
I'm gonna
Yes.
step into my armor and it just like closes up. And
True Seeker's like, I haven't talked to her about her brother yet. Riston stops.
my brother didn't do anything.
He wasn't at the temple. He's not a part of this. You leave Victor alone. Or I will bring Silverhand down here. He kind of stops. She motions to the three of you with Riordan. Let's leave.
I'm gonna leave.
I just kind of look at Truth Seeker and just go, eh?
He
And I just kind of
he
I
nods.
put my hands in my pockets and I just kind of whistle as I walk out the building.
Yeah, he's like, as Kavir's passing, he's like, and the politicians at play.
That's what they do.
He walks back in. All right, Malone.
I'm gonna shout before we're out of
All right.
the building. I'm like, you should check upstairs. One of the rooms has a shrine to Sirik in it.
He stops. Why didn't nobody tell me?
You didn't ask. I don't volunteer information, but I figured, since I'm a diplomat now, I should maybe turn over a new leaf.
Dr. Midnight would have told you, but you were too busy talking shit about my mask.
It is weird looking, dude. Do something different.
I really would love to examine that sometime, just
You
to
ever wash
see what
under
sort of.
there? Like just take a wet rag and just wipe. I mean, it just seems unsanitary to me.
Do you have
It's
to
been a
use
couple hundred
extra
years.
long straws?
It's been a couple hundred years.
I figured Dr. Midnight when he drinks is like one of those little woodpecker toys. You seen the
He
ones
just
that
dabs his
Just-
face.
he just dips over and then he just dips over again and then yeah.
Adri's gonna run over to Rislin and give her a hug. Be like, did you get my letter?
I did,
Okay.
which is why I came.
Well, it's really good to see you.
You too. You have your father's knack for getting into trouble.
Her father tried to give me his knack
We
one
were-
time.
We were helping, so
She's like,
It's
no,
not
no.
our- it's not our fault. I'm gonna sort of like vaguely gesture at like the building that's been half on fire and has a giant hole in one wall and be like, we were helping. So
I'm staying in town with a
fine.
friend, but I would love to see your new manor.
yeah, I got I have a sort of like downtown loft. It's very cool. I've converted half of it to be just a giant workshop / smithy.
Yeah, you should really see Mr. Kavir's tubes.
It's been what, an hour? Give me 20 minutes. I'll have tubes prepared.
She's like, wagons awaiting. You guys see this large 4-horse-drawn wagon out the side.
Lady Rislin, you know how to make an entrance.
Well, let's learn how to make an exit. I'm gonna climb into the.
She's like, I'm glad I make it on time.
As
So-
are we, as I
Yes.
step on.
You guys get on. She gets on. Riordan gets on. He's kind of looking at Kavir odd.
What?
He points to your neck.
It attaches my head.
I know, just kind of. I don't know. I think we might have something in common.
Yeah. You have a head too?
No.
Really?
Well,
This is an interesting conversation. I'm actually
Right?
more
This-
interested now that
yeah.
he doesn't have a head.
You guys take the cart all the way back to Troll Skull. It's pretty kind of quiet. It's late afternoon, almost evening now. It's almost dusk. So
I'm not even gonna pretend to hide anything from these people since we're now diplomats. We have to be honest. I'm gonna be like, Al,
the little writing on the wall. Yes.
we have guests. Don't be weird.
Only you. Arissa looks at the wall. Spirit? Ghost?
Not certain yet.
Elle was
Okay.
here when we got the place.
It's our ghost butler.
Rorden, you sense anything? He's like, it ain't lower planes. It's. I'm not picking any evil. She nods.
I'm gonna look at Rayne and say, were you also in Silver Moon?
Yes. Since the lack of for a better term, the band broke up.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing bodyguard and chauffeur for your aunt.
Oh. Okay.
So
You know what band's great?
No, they're not.
you must be talking about Lichgate.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Amazing band.
Oh.
I have a scrunchie from them,
Oh.
and it just smells like absolute horse hell.
Mine.
I heard that they've been playing at a tavern outside of town.
Rislin's nephew would always send us scrunchies from the band.
You ever lick a scrunchie from the band?
Oh hell no! Rislin's like, are you kidding? Who knows where Victor found those things? I don't care if he said they were from Lichgate or not. I know what those were when I saw them.
You remember those green apple and peach like sugar ring candies, the sour ones?
Oh no.
Same thing, except they tasted a little different. You ever touch your tongue to a 9-volt battery? Oh wait, sorry. All
right. She's like,
and see.
She looks over at Adri. Speaking of your brother, where at? Any word on him?
No, I haven't. I thought he was at the Yawning Portal, but I went down there the other night and I couldn't find him. That's the last place I know that he was.
Right. She looks over at Kavir. May I hear there's 2 of you in town. Adri was explaining it to me in her letters.
That's what I'm hearing.
May I try something?
And there's another Victor, and I think that one had to do with what happened at the temple, but they think it was my brother Victor.
May I try something, Kavir? I'm going to scry you if you give me permission.
Scry me? You just bet me. Sorry, different character.
I tried to scry my nephew, and I came up with 2 spots in the city.
Sure. Do what you got to do.
She begins casting, and she opens her eyes, and her eyes kind of glaze back silver, and she's like, yes, okay, I see you here. There's another you in the city. It matches the same. Why would the spell identify 2 of you? It's the same thing with Victor, yet it's far below the city. Deep, like miles. She stops. Well, the other Victor was below the city too. One of the Victors was below the city.
That's the new one.
Why would they go to Undermountain?
Maybe they have some connection to the Illithid.
No, not the sewers. Undermountain. The Mad Mage. Why would they go?
Yeah, much deeper than the sewers.
Yes. She's on. All right. Rorden's like, we're not going down to Undermountain. She's like, oh, hell no. We're not adventurers anymore.
You don't think they went through the Yawning Portal, did they?
It's the most direct route.
Yeah.
Well, then we ought to be able to ask them there if
they went through.
He went through.
She stops and hold on. Your father's with them.
The ones underground?
I described him, yeah. He's deep underground.
Is that the only dad?
She flips out. Yeah, only one of him, but he just blocked my scry.
Why would he be down there?
So she's like, we can't help him right now. He's leagues beyond where we're at, but if We can check with the yawning portal to see if they did go that way later. Right now we need to make sure the three of you stay out of trouble.
Yeah, good luck with that. You see her bag?
All of that stuff I got legitimately. It just
Legitimately?
it
You
just
took it.
Legitimately lifted 4 bars of silver?
So
You legitimately
you
dealt
didn't
with,
you didn't complain about that.
you
tomorrow night,
legitimately-
I have a dinner with Lady Silverhand. I want the three of you as my guests.
We are just becoming a dinner party, aren't we?
Do I have to change?
I don't think so.
Oh, thank God.
I don't think you're capable of change,
Adri?
Mr. Gavir.
Has a human pirate known as Zod
Zord.
Oh
Zord been
yeah,
around?
yeah, yeah. I've met him a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Does your father
I'm
know
gonna
he's
look at
around?
Rayne and be like,
Does your father know he's around?
I mentioned it to him. Yeah, he told me to stay away from him. Do you know why?
Yes.
Nate's like, you're burning my crawdads.
I do, because he's not human.
What is he?
He's drow.
What?
He used to run with your father and your mother and me.
Mom never said that she adventured with the drow.
Because it was the last mission. The one she disappeared or died.
He was there for. He didn't tell me he was there for that.
She pat you on the shoulder. There's a lot your father didn't tell you.
I know one of those things.
What happened?
Magic artifact went off like an explosion. Middle of a fight. The group of us were taking down the horde of the dragon. We're up against the servants of Tiamat. And something blew up. I'm not sure what the magic item was, but went out there the flash, your mother was gone. Not a trace of her. We assumed after searching and searching, we checked everywhere. We checked the realm. We tried to scry her. We even went through clerics trying to seek gods of the other realms and planes. We couldn't find her. But Zod's real name is Jaraxel.
Time. I knew that fucking hat wearing piece of shit. I knew it.
That hat of disguise is a motherfucker. You know,
Like he acted like he wanted to help
her-
me find out
Sure.
what happened to her.
he's always sworn he wasn't responsible for it, but he was there when the explosion happened. Your father had nothing else to do but blame him.
Your mom gets mad cool points, by the way, just FYI, because she's hanging out with Jarlaxle.
Also, I want to say that me, my brother, my mother, and the Drow sounds like a great sitcom title.
Yeah,
Or a podcast.
that's a really long title.
You guys are
Me,
pretty
yeah.
close to tracking that drow down and putting things together earlier.
Mhm.
So I was trying to say it's 2 sets ahead of Dees the whole time.
I wasn't gonna get it. I was pretty certain that the people before we acknowledged that they were drow, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we mentioned that when we were on the first time we visited them at their dock and everyone had their hand on their weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That part made me think,
So
Okay. So first things first, I'm hungry. What are we doing?
you guys don't have food here? Ruslan says.
Look around. I got 4 to 8 tables of dead people space, a
Mm.
ghost, and powders and elixirs and a brain in a jar. You think
Well,
I
there's-
got
yeah.
food here?
I'm gonna say there's a couple of jars with some heads in them, if I remember correctly.
Well,
There's
I think
also
they
a jar
took
with a
some of
hand
them.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hand jar.
Riordan's over there poking the jar with the hand.
Be careful with
Careful.
that.
She's Risslin's like, she just kind of pats Adri. You know better than to tell a warlock not to play with the dead thing.
Well, the
A
other
warlock, you say?
I know who he is. The
Yeah. For those of you who aren't picking up the name,
No. I
Riordan,
know who you're talking about. I just
Oh,
think
yeah.
that it's
the Q
interesting.
Naden, Riordan back in the original Ravenloft campaign was the one who banished Ludo to Ravenloft. He was the warlock that tricked them and betrayed the mother, and betrayed everyone, and was Adri's like hated nemesis.
Gotcha.
Adri hated his gut. She had never met him, but she hated his guts because of basically Adri hated this guy more than her mom hated him, even though he essentially destroyed her mom's life. Her mom was just more sad that this person she had considered her best friend for a century had betrayed her.
Mhm.
Whereas Adri is like, you told me about this person. I hate him with the passion of 1,000 suns. I will destroy him because I love my mom so much.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
Yeah.
You killed my father.
Pretty much, the
Prepare to
warlocks
much.
were the birth of the Ducknado.
Yeah. So
It's fun watching her right now try to play around this with
I know.
the other AG's feelings.
Meanwhile, in some other realm, the other agent looks up. She's like, something's wrong. I'm really mad, but I'm not sure why.
Why?
But
It's fun to point out the things that are doubled and reversed in this.
Mhm.
Very interesting to me.
So you guys are trying to determine food.
I'm going to use this for later.
There's a knock at the door to the manor.
Oh, great, more company.
Alicia.
You don't see her in the room right now.
Oh, she went home. All right,
Kristen's
fine.
like, "Do you have a maid?"
No.
I'll get the door.
You answer the door and you see a young, spry tiefling looking up at you. Age about 14, note in his hands.
Yes, can I help you? Sir?
Kind of has a blank look in his eyes. Are you Rayne Trichet?
The one and only. Why?
A letter for you.
Oh, joy. Yes,
He puts his
everybody's
hands
just-
down. Kind of just stands there.
I'll fetch a few copper out of my pocket and pay him.
He takes it and he just stands there.
Be gone, son. You bother me. No,
He turns around and
no. Is there anything else? Typically, this is where we part ways. I don't know how new you are to the messenger game.
do you accept a message?
Well, I already paid you a tip and you handed it to me, so I think that was part and parcel of the deal. Yes.
All right. He turns and begins to walk in the street.
is he okay?
He doesn't answer. He just continues to walk down the street.
I think that's spam.
What is this? A Luskan prince has 18 million gold for me, and all I have to do is
Give him my social security number.
So just a handwritten note? What is it that I received?
It's a sealed letter, stamped with a red wax.
Okay.
There's not it's a clear stamp. There's not an actual mark in the stamp at all, but
Okay. No writing on the front, nothing to.
maybe Adrian can hold it up to a candle.
I've heard about people doing that.
Why are you standing next to me? This is my message. God damn it. Didn't we already have this discussion once? Son of a bitch. I close the door. I come back inside. I just kind of hold up the letter and sort of shrug. And I'll break the wax seal.
All right.
What horrible thing befalls me when I do so?
Nothing.
Oh.
It just opens the seal.
Oh, okay. Wow, I may have already won $1 million. I'll break the seal. What is inside the envelope?
A letter, handwritten.
Okay.
Do you read it?
It's the letter P.
Klaatu for yeah, I suppose I'm going to read the letter. I mean, it would seem kind of odd if I didn't.
Mr. Chisay, we've been trying to reach you about your wagon's extended warranty.
Oh, great.
I'm kidding. And it says,
those bastards.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait.
Yes.
Sorry. Everyone across the entire country is getting that same fucking auto message?
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You're not special.
No, I thought that it was like probably a more regional thing. Like they're like different plots. It's just a lazy scam.
I get phone calls on my work line.
Yep.
Like 4 times a day.
Your wind up at the beginning sounded like a Kendrick Lamar song.
Oh, dude.
I get. Do you know that song? Oh my
I
God.
do not.
That was
I'm
amazing.
old.
You sounded so accurate to that song that I had to stop a side conversation to have a second side. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, you read the letter, Mr. Touche. A shame I have to reach out to you this way, but it seems you are the easiest way to get what I acquire. I stole your sister as she got into port. I do have Tempest. I require the stone that was on the automatron. Get the stone, go into the sewers, and follow the trail of blood. And I'll give you back your sister. We've met before.
I don't assume it's signed.
No.
Is there anything about the handwriting or the writing that might suggest who this is?
You don't recognize it. It's kind of seems a little rough. You do see some stains on the paper where it seems that a liquid or a substance was dropped at one spot as it was being written.
I'm just sort of standing there, just taking it in.
You all right?
No, I'm afraid this just got personal.
Well,
whoever we pissed off has my sister.
Oh.
She apparently pulled into port and got jumped. And now she's being held for ransom. Remember that stone?
Mm-hmm.
That's the ransom.
I don't know
Which
how
stone?
we're gonna get that.
The stone that they found on
The nimble right.
the nimble right. I need a moment.
Okay.
I go upstairs to my room.
Hold on.
Mhm.
The stone that we just found.
Well, the stone that was found on the Nimble right when they found it crushed.
You might have been
Alone.
upstairs with Midnight when that happened.
Yeah, that's true. The one that went rogue. So to
Mhm.
speak.
It's going to be really difficult to get that stone from the City Watch.
I'm trying to determine.
Can we fake it?
Well, I mean, I'm upstairs
Out of
trying. I'm
game?
going through my Rolodex, trying to figure out
Okay.
who I know, who this might be, how we've met before.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So all I'm saying though is that couldn't we fake it for the exchange?
We didn't get a good look at the stone.
Yeah. Not only that, but I'm pretty sure that if it's a key, it's not just taking an ordinary rock is probably not going to pass the smell test.
Yeah.
No, but I mean putting it inside of a box or something until
Well-
we get to see your sister and then we just get her back.
I mean, that's an option. I agree.
Or out of game, out of character, you two sneaky fucks can go steal it. But you know, if Kavir were here, he would steal it.
Yeah.
He'd steal it twice. Steal it and then put it back and then steal it again for funsies.
Well, I mean, Rayne isn't going to take too kindly to effectively being extorted. I mean,
Mhm.
if anything, not that it's necessarily his go-to weapon of choice, but he would be the one doing the extorting if that was the requirement.
The point though is that even if we do or don't have it, we still have to set up a meeting. Right?
Right. I'm just trying to figure out, is this one of those things where we want to inform the authorities and set a trap, or if we want to take it on
I
by
don't-
ourselves?
I don't
The
think we're
authorities could
set.
be involved.
I don't think we need to set up a meeting. The note said, "Bring the stone and follow the trail of blood in the
Right.
sewers," right?
Right.
So they're probably at the end of that trail of blood waiting
Right.
for us. The City Watch isn't going to go in the sewers. It's not their district.
Well,
Well, then-
not that it's not their jurisdiction, but at
Yeah.
the same time, if there is a link between this and what we just walked away from, then I'm wondering if the City Watch might be convinced to change their mind about that. Or more importantly, would Lady Silverhand force them? We're about to go have dinner with her.
That's true. We can ask her tomorrow.
Or the
I mean,
black
there's-
staff.
Or that.
They would have a better position to argue for someone.
The Black Stuff doesn't control the City Watch, though. The stone's
No,
in
no,
the
I know
hands
that,
of the
but-
City Watch.
But they could make a recommendation given that the stone has some sort of power already. They know that it's relevant to the Mind Flayer thing. I'm 100% certain that the kid that came to the door was under control of Mind Flayer.
Oh no, yeah. That, I mean,
I'm
out of game, out of
Yeah.
character. Yes, absolutely. Which
I also
still
want to know
begs the
where they
question-
got the little seal for the envelope. Like he was just like blah, 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 with his mouth and shit, and he was just like, I don't know, get something flat, whatever,
trying to-
just something flat.
Why the fuck doesn't Illithid need a fortune?
Maybe there's something more valuable than a fortune in the vault.
Bum bum.
Well, are we meeting with Lady Silverhand tonight?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. I don't know that I necessarily want to wait that long.
So let's go.
Yeah, but I have a feeling we're walking into an ambush.
Yeah, okay.
We
You
definitely.
gotta
The
leave
last
your sister?
ambush almost took us down. So, and that was with someone's help who's no longer with us. So unless
Where's the-
Adri's aunt is willing to come along and.
Don't you have allies in this city you can reach out for?
Well, they just banished one of them.
Yeah.
Is he out of the city yet?
Not yet. I think they're trying to find him again.
Ask
You could
yourselves
ask-
where'd he go? Because if you're saying is true, the city watch can't touch him in the sewer.
True, he could be down there. Although that's a very dangerous place to be right now.
I know some turtles.
But where would he go? Who does he work for? Does he work? I can go to Lady Silverhand and see if I can get the stone for you.
Do it.
Yeah.
Judgment call. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone line up for their tinfoil. I don't trust that sewer.
I think maybe we'd be better off bolting some plate armor to our head.
Speaking of which, I'm going to look at AG. Don't you have cool energy armor?
Yeah.
Do you need that other one?
We didn't get the other one.
Rorden coughs. There was a trunk outside, just kind of like lying there in the ground
Uh
with a full plate. It's in the wagon.
huh.
So I
You
saw the guy in there.
are fantastic.
No, it seemed to be missing the human in it, but I mean, there's some blood in it. But I figured being a doctor and you all, and I know Adri's cuts and scrapes her whole life. Blood doesn't bother her.
No. Well,
Victor's a little too
That's
fascinated by it. I thought in maybe another life he could have been a necromancer. I don't know.
don't say
Just-
that. I don't want to.
Brendan.
So, okay.
And then you hear a scraping, gently scraping at your chamber floor. Scrape the Brendan. Scrape some more.
I was about
Rorden
to
comes
ask,
back in, puts the chest down.
Hmm.
Urson looks over. Yes.
I'm just curious to see if there's any like fingernail scratches on the inside of that trunk.
Well, you can look in it after we're gone.
Okay.
Ursula's like, I'll go to get your stone.
Thank
All
you.
Is there anything else you need?
Oh, I don't know.
Second set of plate mail.
If you find out anything more about Dad, or if you can figure out where Victor is, I'm really worried about him. But don't tell him I said that.
She looks at Rorden. I'll scribe Victor on the way. You must find him in the city. She folds the letter. Rayne, the diplomatic papers. I trust Adri with them, but she seems to get confiscated by the guards too many times.
It happened once.
That we
I wasn't
aware
even
of.
included. So, you know.
I'm used to dealing with important paperwork. I'll be happy to hold on to these.
Those are the writ from Lady Silverhand over the diplomatic community, the three of you have.
Excellent.
Which, if things go really, really south, you are welcome to go back to Silverwood with me.
Okay.
The ship is in port.
All right. Well, I'm not going anywhere without my sister, but I do.
No, I understand.
appreciate
That's what I'm saying. If things go really, really
Sure.
south, you
Understood.
get her back, but you cross the watch or something.
Understood.
Ask Adri. Family's family. Whether you live 100 or you live 1,000.
Or if you're all related.
Except those bastards from Lichgate. They're their own breed.
I
She's just
swear.
walking out.
I swear, if we survive this, I have to go see one of their shows. Don't ask me why. I'm just drawn to it. Now that I'm just going to be walking everywhere like Rain Trichet multipass. Well, I mean, if she's going to go ask about the stone, my sister would not have come into port on her own. Her ship would be most likely down in the dock ward, because that's where she would have come aboard or come on
Mhm.
shore, rather. And I have to imagine her crew would have been with her. Maybe they know something. I would like to go find them and see what they know, what they've seen, because I can't go down into the sewers empty-handed. That's probably not going to work well. I'd at least like to have some kind of knowledge or tactical advantage over whatever we're about to run into. If it's the illithid, if it's who knows what at this point, I would much rather have some idea of what we're about to face, or because otherwise just walking down into the sewers, that just seems like a death trap to me.
All right.
Well played.
Do you want us to come with you?
I think that might be best right now, if you don't mind.
Thanks for listening to Freelance Heroism Plays Dragon Heist. If you would like to support us, please check out our Patreon. We're at patreon.com/freelance_heroism. We have different things there. Character journals, art, bloopers, stuff like that.
Our cast includes me as Dr. Kavir the Raven, Rachel as Adri the Highborn Artificer, Nate as Rayne Trichet, Dockside Officiant, and of course, D-Walk as Dr. Midnight, and everybody else in the game. Thanks for listening to Freelance Heroism Plays Dragon Heist, and we don't invoice in this group. We'll be back next week with more episodes, so stay tuned.
All right. So do you want to hear this this Stephen King story that I immediately thought of that
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Are we done recording? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'll use this in the after
Ooh.
the post credits.
Ooh.
So it's about this guy who goes like golfing, and he like knocks his golf ball into some bushes or something. And when he goes to get it, there's a weird snake there and it bites him. And then he like falls over, but something about like the snake's venom, when like the paramedics come, they think that he's dead because there's no response. And but he's like present and aware in his mind, but he can't move his body, and everyone thinks he's dead. So they take him to like autopsy him, because they're like, what happened to this guy? And so he's on the autopsy table, and there's like 4 different doctors around him, and they're getting ready to cut into him. And I think that like he's naked at this point, and one of the doctors is a woman. And so he like concentrates on her so much that he gives himself an erection, because it's the only way to like signal to them that he's still alive.
He had to pitch a flag. Right.
And so
I claim this pelvis in the name of Spain.
So that's how he signals to them that he's still alive. And then I think at like the end of the story, he talks about how he and this woman dated for a while. But they had to break up because he could only like get it up in the bedroom if she was wearing rubber gloves.
Well, that's a weird thing to add.
And that's the whole story.
That's a weird thing to add at the end.
What is the point? What is the point of that?
Yeah.
Like,
I think the visual of having someone perform surgery on a living thing while they're conscious of it is a terror.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's a horror thing.
Absolutely.
I don't know necessarily that the boner signal is what I would have used.
I don't understand what the symbolism is behind the story, or
I think maybe he was just getting older and he figured that he would cover the topics that are close to him. It's life and death for him to get this. Oh my God.